Well, hello everyone. Alejandro J. Tornato here. And as you can see, I'm not alone. I'm with my dear friend, colleague, business partner, and so many adjectives I can put. I mean, when I'm talking about this lady, um, and Juanita Cap, all the way from South Africa. And today what we decided to do is this is not going to be a teaching lesson. I mean, but we thought that
Yeah.
this topic of the power of connection was such an important part in us
Mm.
coming together and doing what we are doing. And this is just the beginning, but everything started by connecting with one another. And
Mm.
that's what we want to share with all of you, because I think that I mean, so many people, let me begin with this. So many people think um, uh, very erroneously that
Mm.
communication and connection are exactly the same things. And
Mm.
even though there are similarities, and of course, if you want to communicate more effectively, and if you want to take your communication to the next level, then you have to apply uh, connecting with people. I mean,
Mm.
communication alone will not do it, will just do part of it. But when you connect, then you are communicating fully and effectively with another person, with a small group, or with an audience if you are on stage. So we thought that this topic on the power of connection is going to be very important, and it will certainly add value to any listener. So that's why we thought that we wanted to share a few things about a connection. So let me throw it back at you, Jay. What
Yeah.
is, what do you think? How do you view the power of connection and connecting with people?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Juanita from South Africa, and I'm very privileged to be here with my wonderful friend Alejandro J. Tornato and to speak on this wonderful topic. Yes, I think when we look at connecting and communicating, for me personally, I like communicating with people. We are people's persons, we like to engage with people. But for me, communication is the start of point. It has to go over into connection because otherwise it is just something superficial. Now, we are human beings, we have feelings, we have opinions, we have expectations. And when we start communicating with someone, and I think Alejandro, you will agree with me, we form a relationship with them. It can be a business relationship, it can be just a friendship. There's so many other levels of relationship. It can be a religious relationship, but it stays in kind of the same place. If we don't learn, and I'm going to quote the following phrase, if we don't learn to hear what isn't being said,
Hmm.
because the most important thing in communication is to have the emotional intelligence, the discernment. When you are busy communicating and you realize this is developing, I have to go over to connecting now, to solidify this friendship, this relationship on whatever level it might be. I have to learn to hear and see through that person's body language what isn't being said. And that is a skill. And that is not something you can, I think it's something that comes naturally. But when we work with people, unfortunately, the hybrid space has changed this dynamic a bit, Alejandro, because, we can't often online, you can't really read body language as we would, when we are in a corporate setting and there's a lot of people. When we work with people, we pick it up immediately. But we have to learn the skill of reading between the lines. If I can give it a name, if I can put a tag on it, Learn to read between the lines, because it is of utmost importance to take communication from connection. Because when we communicate, we need to know that we are going to do that in a long term, in the manner of a long term relationship. And connecting is really our end goal. Over to you, Alejandro.
Yes, sure. I mean, I think that you're definitely on the right track, and I love what you said, that connecting, it has to do primarily with listening
Yeah.
what's in between the lines, listening to what is not being said,
Yes.
because that is, and you know, I heard it one time, but that was a few years ago, and that resonated with me. You know, I mean, when you listen to a concert, okay,
Mm.
and you hear all the instruments playing, and of course I mean, they follow
Yeah.
notes. I mean, musical notes, okay, but I heard someone said that what makes a concert, or what makes a melody powerful, is not the notes that are written. They are the pauses in
Yeah.
between the notes.
Yes. Beautiful. I love that. I love
and
that.
and that and that is also applicable to when we speak. You see, when you hear, and it happened to me, and that's why, and I'm going to tell you, I mean, a story. When you hear a speaker, a powerful speaker on stage, the power of that speaker does not come from the fact that that speaker speaks continuously, like a gun,
Yeah.
continuously from beginning to end. No, 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 no. What makes that speaker powerful is speaking and then just pausing.
Yes.
And you know what happens, Jay? I guess the majority of people, I think there's something in our human beings, I mean, like a structure, that we don't like
Mm.
silence. We feel very uncomfortable
Yeah.
when we are talking, whether it is we're talking one on one, like you and I here,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden we don't talk, and we pause, and we just perhaps look at one another. I mean, most people, they would feel very, very uncomfortable in that situation,
Mm.
because
Mm.
they don't know
Mm.
what to expect. And so that's what makes a speech, a presentation
Yeah.
powerful, is
Yeah.
because you are letting people, you said something, but you are pausing because you are letting people absorb what they just heard. And so there's a
Yes.
pause. And that's what we need to get more comfortable with and
Yes.
accustomed to. I mean, to be in a place where it's not just speaking all the time, is just pausing and being
Yes.
silent. There is power in silence.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we need those pauses,
Yeah.
because we have to take in what has been said. And if we want to be clear and concise when we communicate, there's two things that we have to do. We have to bring that presence that we carry, and we have to give our utmost attention. Now, you're a public speaker as well, so when you get on that stage,
Yeah.
your your presence is there, and your attention is nowhere else. You are focused on your audience because you are there to deliver a message.
Yeah.
And because you want to encourage them, elevate them, develop them, you give them the chance to take in what you've said. So you speak clearly, you speak concisely, and you give them that opportunity. to take in what you've said. So communication is so much more than people really realize.
Yeah.
When I carry that presence on stage, I'm already relating a message to the audience. Just by walking on, before I even open my mouth, they have already discerned what my presence is saying to them.
That's
They
right.
can see on my face what my attitude is, and am I convinced, and am I powerful, and how do I carry myself. But the magic happens when I take my message and my presence, and I make sure that my attention and my words are directed at them. Communication is key for any type of personal and professional development.
Yeah.
How will we develop if we don't communicate?
That's exactly right. Um, talk is easy.
Yes.
Talk is easy. I mean, we have a mouth, and everybody talks. So talk is easy, and everybody does it. Now, the question that we have to ask is this: how can we make our words count?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's the key issue here, because everybody talks. I mean, if you don't have a problem with your mouth, I mean, you can talk all day long. However, the question is, in all that talking, are you
Mm.
making your words count
Yeah.
toward a purpose, toward
Yeah.
something, or you're just talking um,
Mm. Mm.
without even sometimes making sense of
Yeah.
what you're saying? I
Yeah.
mean, that's and that is the importance of connecting. And I think that when we connect, when we truly connect, we go beyond the surface of things. I
Mm.
mean, we
Mm.
go deeper into things, because connecting with another human being is not at the superficial level. I
Yeah.
mean, you can communicate, you can talk with another person, and that's fine. And everything is just talking, okay? And nothing happens. But when you really dig deep, and when you really want to get to know a particular person, when
Yeah.
when you want to know their struggles and their success, and when you
Yeah.
want to really have that connection, then you
Yes.
have to dig deep, because
Mm.
as I
Mm.
said,
Mm.
treasure and soul content is not found on the surface of things. You
Mm.
have to
Mm.
go
Mm.
deeper, and that's when
Yeah.
connection comes into place.
Absolutely. And if you are someone that communicates effectively, you can adjust your communication levels to be able to connect to different audiences. You have to make sure when you are at a certain venue speaking to a certain group of people that you know how to connect with them. Sometimes they want academic facts.
Yeah,
That is how you're going to connect with them. That is what your crowd is about. Sometimes they want laughter
yeah,
weaved into the important message that you have. Sometimes they want you to give your life story, give your testimony. You have to read your audience as well. Other people, you are going to relate or connect to you better if you use stories. So it's a very intricate process to move from communicating over, I would say, in the middle here, to effective communication over to connection. I think if we had to connect the dots, there would be three steps. Communicating, obviously through your presence, so your attention is there, what you bring, your stature. Communicating effectively is to discern how do I connect with my audience? Are they an academic crowd? Do they want stories? Do they want my testimony? Should I weave in laughter and humor in between? What are the requirements and the needs of my audience? And then when I've realized and established that, I can connect. And that's where the magic happens.
that's exactly right. One of my mentors, John Maxwell. I mean, he's a great communicator and a great connector. I mean, when you
Wow.
see him on stage,
Yeah.
And I saw him on stage because I certified through the Maxwell organization, so I was
Wow.
there. When John Maxwell is on stage,
Yeah.
he demands, in a sense, the attention. I mean, he has a
Mm, mm.
presence that is
Yeah.
a powerful presence. And
Yeah.
when I said he demands, it's not that he comes and says, "I demand that everybody listens to me." No, 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 no. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that his presence and the way that he conveys the message.
Yeah.
There's not a single pin dropping in there, because everybody is captivated to
Yeah.
listen to him and to the stories and to the message and to the lessons that he has to share. So that is
That's
commanding,
amazing.
that's commanding the stage. And so
Yeah.
John Maxwell says, when it comes to a definition of connection, and
Yeah.
this is one that it connected with me. And it says, connecting is the ability to identify with people and
Oh.
relate to them in
Yeah.
a way that increases your influence with them.
Mm. Wonderful.
Now,
Yeah.
what a beautiful definition. I mean,
Yeah.
connecting is the ability to identify, okay,
Mm,
with
mm,
people and relate to them in such a way that
mm,
you
mm.
are increasing your influence with them.
Beautiful.
And I thought that
Beautiful
was a
word.
beautiful definition.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Connecting with them on their communication needs.
Yeah.
Sharing, exchanging your thoughts and ideas, your opinions, and just making that impact. And, influence is also leadership. So communication is a style of leadership if you do it effectively and you connect. So I love that. We have to exchange our ideas and our thoughts and our opinions and our knowledge. And when we meet them at the place where they are at, terrific, they are able to take it in. And there we go. We have effective communication, we have connection, and they are so taken with your message that they just want to know more. And that is where relationships are formed. Long-term relationships. I believe that we meet people for a reason. I believe that we walk a path with people and that we have to have that continuous importation. And also, what I find refreshing about communication is that we allow people to give us feedback, because communication is not a monologue,
No.
it's a two-way street. You have to be able to let people give you feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, and we cannot be afraid of that feedback. I mean, we
No?
have to be very receptive and open. And I think that if we want to keep growing, if we want to keep getting better, even if that feedback says, well,
Yeah.
I thought that you didn't do that well. And let me
Yeah.
share some things. You cannot just stuck with you and says, "Hey, who do you think you are?" No, 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 no. I mean, you have to be flexible,
Yeah.
adaptable, and very receptive to listen
Yes.
to that feedback.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listening is part of communication.
Yeah,
Listening is part of communication. Active listening and having the confidence in yourself to deliver the message, but also having the confidence in others and placing your trust in others that they will be honest with you when they give that feedback.
yeah,
Because communication brings us into relationships, as we've established, a two-way relationship with others.
exactly. That's right. So as we wrap up
Yeah,
this short session on the power of connection, if you would allow me, Jay, that
yeah,
was a few years ago. I mean, when I started my journey into leadership, into personal growth and development, into intentionality, into human potential, I came across, uh, I wouldn't call it a poem, but I think it's a statement
yeah.
um, by Victoria Erickson
Mm,
about connection, and I want to read it. Okay.
absolutely.
It says, when connections are real, they simply never die. They can be buried or ignored or walked away from, but never broken. If you've deeply resonated with another person or place, the connection remains despite any distance, time, situation, lack of presence, or circumstance. If you are doubtful, then just try it. Go and revisit a person or place and see if there is any sense at all of the space between now and then. If it was truly real, you'll be instantly swept back into the moment it was before it left, during the same year and place, with the same wonder and hope, comfort and heartbeat. Real connections live on forever.
I love that.
And I tell you, I think that summarizes what connections and connecting is all about. I mean, connecting, when you have a real connection with someone, that connection transcends space, time, distance, anything. I mean, that connection remains, and that's the beauty of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, in my years in the ministry, I have Meticulous, my business now, but I've been in the ministry also for 15 years. I've really made it a point to try and connect with as many people as possible, and to, I attempt to connect with people on such a level that they become my friends and my family, and I keep those connections, because I want to tell the audience something today. The people that you know, the people that you meet are precious. And we all have something to learn from each other. And there she wrote in her poem, there are connections, some connections stay for a lifetime. And there's no limit to what that connection can bring. And it is a beautiful part, it is a beautiful truth in life, that we have the option to not just communicate or communicate effectively as we've established in those 3 steps that I listed, but to connect, to make something valuable and precious. And who knows what the future holds? So I want to encourage the audience today, go from the 3 steps that I've mentioned. Start communicating. Be present, bring your message. Also, be in the moment. Communicate effectively. Learn how to do that. It's a skill. And connect and enjoy people. And, just see where it goes. There are amazing things that happen when powerful connections are formed. Over to you, Alejandro.
Excellent. Thank you so very much, Jay, for contributing and for everything that you do and what we are doing together.
My pleasure.
This is the result, actually, of a magical connection. I mean, when we truly connected, then we can start creating new things and be in that kind of a strength zone. And how thankful I am to be on this journey with you.
Thank you, Alejandro. Thank you. Same to you.
You're very welcome. So you got it. That's not exhaustive, but that's just perhaps a beginning, a first step on the power of connection. So until the next time that we connect with one another, all the very best and be well.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.